Welcome to another edition of From the Perch. I'm Roman from the Orange Bowl Boys podcast and contributor for Canes Insight. This week, University of Miami versus the Pitt Panthers. You see the graphic at the bottom of the screen and it tells the whole picture. Miami's 29% on the year on third down conversion rates, which is good for 125th out of 130 FBS schools in the country. You see Brevin Jordan highlighted at the bottom of the screen in a bunch set. This is 11 set personnel. So let's go under the hood and find out why this play also misfires on third down. Pay attention to this walk-up linebacker right here by Pitt. He's essentially going to go ahead and change gaps. And when he does, he's essentially going ahead and shuffling the communication rules that were previously employed. Ja'Kai Clark is going to go ahead and lose a little leverage inside. And Cam Harris astutely has his eyes inside because that's where the immediate threats are going to go ahead and affect the quarterback. Doesn't necessarily matter because the stunt is going to go ahead and he's going to meet it. But you see this Pitt defender having essentially a beat right at N'Kosi Perry. Now, at the same time, I want to focus right here. If this was to be a mesh concept, I don't like the way that we're running this. Simply for the fact, if one of your receivers is setting the depth, the other receiver should aim at that back hip. When that doesn't happen, if Brevin comes this way or Wiggins essentially tags with his hip, you're going to rub this DB out. When that doesn't happen, he's essentially right on the back hip. N'Kosi Perry is falling further away from the line of scrimmage. Maybe if he's wide open, this could be an easier throw. Stand in the pocket. It's going to be bang, bang. That's close, but you're falling away further from the pocket. You throw this ball ill-advised. This is left high, and you have to punt. So a little gamesmanship by Pitt to go ahead and just jump different protection looks by shifting their linebacker, and the fact that maybe rubbing wasn't racing on that mesh concept led to the fact that you needed to punt. Third and goal and along the goal line, and look, I get it. The way that the offensive line has played this year and the amount of sacks that they have given up, it's a natural instinct to want to drop your head and run. In this case, it could have possibly led to 6 points. Right here, I want to commend N'Kosi Perry. Good way to work up in the pocket. I thought the offensive tackles did a good job washing their defensive ends further downfield to allow essentially escape route for the quarterback to work up inside, which he does. Now, you have your eyes looking potentially downfield. You have a Pitt defender bearing down on you. Now, right here, you notice him, you start to flush. If you keep your eyes up just a split second sooner, instead of grounding this ball, you would have noticed that you had a wide open wide receiver behind it with a little float touch pass. It would essentially be 3 points on the field goal, but in the future, those field goals, especially the way we're kicking them, need to turn into touchdowns. You could tell that Miami came in with a game plan to limit the negative plays. And they didn't really have many. Here they do, and let's find out why. N'Kosi Perry under center right here carrying out a jet sweep to Wiggins, who's coming across the formation. Now pay attention to this defensive end. The play side defensive end is going to essentially be unchecked. He's not going to be blocked. You have a bunch set up here at the formation. KJ Osborne's going to block, have a hat on a hat. Mallory's going to let this guy go by and essentially take this secondary linebacker, and you have another wide receiver that's going to block air. Plus your decision to take a play side guard and basically pull him backside to contain the backside pursuit. That's an anatomy of a bad play because when this guy comes unchecked, he's an immediate threat. He strings this parallel to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to go for a negative gain. I think Miami did some interesting plays later on off the jet sweep that I'm going to highlight in this series. But in that case, you want to stay out of third and long? Then you know what? Stay on schedule on first. Tight bunch formation along the goal line, and where I said earlier in the breakdown that yes, I thought there was some unique creative wrinkles using the jet sweep motion. Here was one of them. Just a simple, here comes jet sweep with Wiggins across the formation, which we saw earlier. Hey, trap. Good play off that wrinkle, especially when you have people trying to over-penetrate that and go play side. That was one way to keep them honest. Good job. Miami comes out and ace gun 2x2 look, and this is going to be a simple pass concept. One of those 30-year pass varieties that Mark Rick would talk about. You're essentially going to go ahead and take the X receiver at the top of the screen and take him on the go, and the underlying slot is going to go ahead and run an out. But what happens? Pay attention right here to the Pitt DB. He's essentially going to be playing over the top and man, but he's got his eyes back at the quarterback at the same time. This is going to play dividends in this interception by N'Kosi Perry. He inexplicably leaves the ball high, And at this point, the DB astutely comes off his receiver, drives in on it for the pick. Actually, astute heads-up play by the Pitt defender, keeping his eyes back on the prize and playing the down and distance, knew what he needed to do, and essentially this would lead to another field goal for the Pitt Panthers. On this next failed third down conversion attempt, it would be real easy to go ahead and pile on true freshman left tackle Zion Nelson. But there's some other things and more than meets the eye here on this play that could have helped him out. First, and we mentioned it, it's 3rd and 7. Keep that in mind because the quarterback drop to route relationship could probably improve on plays like this. And also, you have max protection in the backfield. You have Michael Irvin Jr. right of N'Kosi Perry, and you have Cam Harris left. And as this play unfolds, you're going to notice right here. He had the option. He could have helped Chip, but decides not to and is eventually going to leak out as a secondary and ancillary check down. Now at this point, you were 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage and you take another 5-yard drop. This puts you 10 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Speed rusher coming on the outside. Maybe if you drop this down to about 7, taking 3 to 8 and stepping up into the pocket, that is the pocket that's available for you to go ahead and make this play. But when you have the quarterback taking a 5-step drought and you only need 7 yards, I don't know. That also led to a meeting at the QB. He's a little too far back in my opinion, leads to the sack. So yes, Zion Nelson's going to go ahead and get all the heat. But when you have a halfback doesn't decide to help Chip and you're setting a quarterback 10 yards back behind the line of scrimmage, I don't necessarily think good things are always going to happen, no matter who you are. Earlier in the year, I thought Miami was victimized every time they came into a tight formation set, essentially because they put themselves at risk for a press corner coming in on a blitz. University of Florida came to mind when they got Miami twice on sacks of that variety. In here, you're on alert. You have a press corner close to the quarterback, but Miami's learning. Right here, you'll notice that D. Wiggins, before he comes into his route, he's got his hands on his DB. Now he's passing him off to DJ Scaife, and now that DB's rethinking his life as he gets bodied on the floor. Now, great quarterbacking here by N'Kosi Perry. Rolling opposite your throwing hand can be tricky, but one of the things you're taught is to get your hips in line with your target. And if you can, get your momentum coming back upfield. He does both of those to some degree, and here you go. Perfect on-the-money throw opposite your throwing hand for a first down. All set up by the fact that Miami was on alert that DB was blitzing. Good job. 4th and 3, and I think you're going to sense a little predeterminism by quarterback N'Kosi Perry here. And let's set up the play. It's 12 set personnel, 1 halfback, 2 tight ends in line. Will Mallory and Brevin Jordan are going to be running a mesh or a rub concept in the middle of the field. You're going to have a corner, and then you're going to have the halfback, Cam Harris, leaking to the flat. Dan Enos is actually helping you out here as well by doing pre-snap motion with KJ Osborne, and when Pitt essentially doesn't check this and run across the formation, good signaling point that that's going to be zone coverage, which it ends up being. But here, watch his eyes. You're essentially locking in on one wide receiver. Pitt, they're sensing this and they're flowing in that direction. Right here on the telecast, they said if you got the ball out quick to Cam Harris, there was a good shot that he was going to get a first down. But I also want to go ahead and bring you back towards the mesh. Right here, right underneath. If this was a tight window throw and you can make this is a potential first down, but your eyes have never come off the prize and what you thought right here with D. Wiggins on a corner route. This was always covered. You brought additional defenders by staring this down, and this was overthrown. Turnover on downs, and that was unfortunate. One of the most critical aspects of the game this week is that the Pitt Panthers settled for field goals instead of touchdowns. Miami just made it difficult for them, especially in the red zone. And on this 3rd and goal, right here, bottom of the screen, Robert Knowles. Great play behind the backfield, stunts the momentum of the running back. 3 points, Pitt, and that was huge. Great play by number 20. 4th and 1, and with the game in the balance, this was the play call of the game for me, and it broke some tendency. You didn't decide to go ahead and run the ball, but a quick pass along the perimeter netted you a first down and extended the drive, and rightfully so. You'll notice that the Pitt Panthers have essentially 8 people in the box. And as you go ahead and motion KJ Osborne into this bunch set formation, this press corner now has to go ahead and essentially give space. And when they do, the decision here to essentially double the one closest DB who could act as a threat to KJ was all that they needed to go ahead and net the first down. Great play call, better than that fullback dive I saw 17 times last year. 3rd and 2 and desperately needing to go ahead and convert this to extend the drive, Dan Enos calls a mirrored concept. Essentially what that means is the 2 top receivers are going to be running exactly what the bottom 2 wide receivers. Pre-snap, the quarterback is going to determine which side is the better look and essentially deliver the ball. In this case, the concept is simple. It's actually the same concept that N'Kosi Perry threw an interception on earlier in the game. You're going to have the outside receiver run a go, the slot receiver run an out. Now looking here into the boundary, you see that this linebacker is leveraged a little inside. For all intents and purposes, as a quarterback, I'm picking up on that, and this should be my primary read. But watch what happens with this linebacker. He knows this, and he immediately leaks out further out into the flat. This is taking away Jaren's pre-snap read. At this point being 3rd and 2, he's looking out for a second. Now he's looking just to make a play. And where some people might have concerns about mobility and picking up first down with his feet, I've never shared those concerns, and that is one way to extend the play. First down, great job. 2nd and 10, and this is ball game. University of Miami is lining up in the pistol formation, and they're going to run an RPO. Both unique instances because Miami statistically hasn't run a lot of pistol up to this point, nor have they done RPO variants. But here you go. One thing I want you to notice is look at Pitt. They're coming up showing late. Miami's communicating this well. And even though somebody would have gotten home, it doesn't matter. The quick release is going to shine here. There you go. Jaren is looking at an area, and those DBs vacated a perfect bang 8 window, a skinny post. There's the release. Guy in his face, doesn't matter. Right on the money. KJ sheds a tackle, and that is ball game. Great play. Perfect call for the perfect time blitz. A little wrinkle, I applaud it in all directions.